Okay, hey, welcome to another episode of On Point EDC. Today we have a really cool update for you from the brand Tactile Turn. They were founded back in 2012 out of the good old US of A by Will Hodges. And basically him and his team are obsessed with making things that will last a lifetime. And not just in theory, but these are actually warranted items. So you do get a warranty for a lifetime, which I think is great. These are actually also hand machined in Garland, Texas, which is awesome. But generally, of course, to characterize this particular item, I'd consider it a custom pen. Some key common characteristics and design language when you're looking for something in the realm of custom pens. Of course, you're going to want that unique design language. You're going to want that fun, fidgetable actuation, as well as premium materials and construction. Because if you're going to pay for the customness of it, you might as well also have some sweet materials. Now, this particular pen is made out of titanium, as you might have guessed, and yeah, it looks awesome. And I'm a big fan of this line. I've reviewed quite a few different ones along the way, back when they were kind of still the slider and glider, and then they eventually became the bolt action line. And then basically there's just different ranges in terms of size. This is the bolt action short, but one new piece about this is that's actually the slim bolt action short. So it's really just the next evolution of that popular line, but now slimmed down with also the addition of a milled titanium pocket clip. It also comes with a Schmidt EasyFlow 9000, which is a great insert, and that's specific for this particular length. With some of the different lengths, this is like kind of the medium size length. If you go for the full length or you go for the mini, there are other options there as well. The nice thing is this piece, although it has been upgraded and really graduated into a whole new realm, in terms of price, it's actually still $99, which I think is awesome. So especially considering how much the cost of raw materials has gone up, especially for precious metals, I think it's great that the team was still able to find other ways to make this thing really retain that value proposition. Some of you are thinking $99 is a lot for a pen, but and some of you know that $99 is actually not. I mean, you can get a brass pen that costs way more than $100. That is, just within the normal kind of pen connoisseurs world. This is more within that EDC premium gear facet, and yeah, I think it's cool. So with that said, let's zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. All right, now before we get this totally picked up, and let me just do a quick customary wristwatch check. I got my King Seiko reissue on today, and I think it's fitting because this piece right here honestly is just, it has a timeless appeal to it, especially with the design. Some of you might see this as very modern and futuristic, but it's just so clean. I mean, for me, these lines really kind of transcend just kind of the modern take on it, and it's just a very minimalist, kind of timeless design. I mean, ooh, man, it's just, the form is, it's based and built around the function, and it's quite handsome, and it makes me think of, the finishing, let's say, on this barrel where you're getting the grip. And you can see normally, titanium is, you'd see it more on this side of the house with kind of a stone washed finish, more matted, but you can see here the machining lines are just absolutely impeccable, and also do add great grip and purchase while you're using it. And then it just kind of reminded me of some of the, those radial lines on the dial of the King Seiko. And yeah, it's just, again, tying into the timeless side, pairing it with something like, let's say, my Pena trapper here, front flipper trapper, very, kind of old meets new, great size, quite manageable again, and really just kind of a minimalist carry that can really do it all. You take kind of modern materials and you inject them with a little bit of fidget factor, right? And some premium materials, and you get something really quite special. So happy to share that with you guys, and just initial kind of thoughts there. So here's the packaging, very straightforward. It comes in here like this, pull it out. Also, hey, don't forget, proudly designed, machined, and assembled in Texas, Tactile Turn. So big shout out to Will and the team. But now we come on to this. Now, in terms of the size, the reason why I really like the short is because it really is perfect size to match with, like, let's say a Moleskine notebook or a Field Notes notebook. So very comparable, perfect, pocketable, great to, be used and carried. But one of the big things that's changed on here, the reason why we call it slim, is because the previous iterations were actually quite thick. Let me see what I can find here around my desk. Okay, here we go. So here's the previous iteration, and you can see it is there's quite a difference in the thickness there. And you can feel that in hand. It's not to say that, this slim model is ultra slim, but there's definitely a bit of an overbuilt feel with the previous generations. And don't get me wrong, overbuilt in absolutely an outstanding way. I mean, especially, as a Marine thinking weapon of opportunity, this thing, you could do some damage with this bad boy. And yeah, it feels great in hand, and it just definitely oozes kind of that premium feel because of that thickness. One thing you'll also notice the changes, instead of this kind of more deep carry style clip, you're going to get the more kind of premium style machined milled clip. And then you can see the edge work there, broken edges, so nothing sharp. Nice beveling, little soft edge there, quite nice. And then you can see it's even signed. If I can get it to focus, there we go. Right underneath there, Tactile Turn. Very cool. And even says 2021, if you guys can see that. So I thought that was a really nice touch, but this isn't their first foray into these types of milled clips. You can see here with the side click, a very similar clip there, and then this has the kind of older previous thicker body style, more akin to this one when you think of that kind of barrel weight on there. So really quite nice from that standpoint. Of course, different type of actuation. Not quite as smooth and as fluid as the bolt action, but still definitely some fun fidget factor there. And really handsome, really very nice piece, and clickable. So this was kind of, I think, a bit of an inspiration as far as where they were going with this. And you can see that thinner body, I think it really, it makes a difference. I mean, this thing is gorgeous. I love kind of the full length machining there. Let me give it a quick little wipe because it's just it can, within those grooves, can pick up dust and whatnot. Not to an impractical amount, but just, for camera purposes, of course, I want to show this to you in its, most pristine kind of phase. But yeah, this thing's really nice. So one thing I really like is it's because it has these screws exposed with the machining, it really does tie in nicely to the bolt. Really nice, soft kind of J shape there. So when it comes down, when you got to bring it back, you really just push it over. You're not necessarily pulling and then cocking it. It's very natural, very intuitive. Either hand, you can see I have my wristwatch on the right wrist, which means I'm left-handed. Really, I just write with my left hand. Everything else I do with my right hand, right-handed. You saw with the knife, right-handed. I shoot right-handed. I'm right-eye dominant. But when it comes to writing and drawing, I use my left hand. And this thing feels really great in there. And I think that thinner body on here definitely pays dividends in terms of the comfort level on this. Now, I'm not going to do any type of writing testing or anything like that, because ultimately what comes in here is your standard Schmidt Easy Flow 9000, which is a really great insert, but it's not like proprietary to Tactile Turn, so I'm not going to worry about that. But yeah, this thing is just beautiful. I love the machined texture, and then now you even get a little bit a touch of some contrast here with this nice stone washed finish, which is great. And you can see even the end cap there is just beautifully machined. You can see that the seam on the body here where the tip is quite hard to find. You might be able to see it if you're super keen, but basically once I unscrew this tip, then you would see it. But when everything is screwed down nicely, it just flows. It almost seems like just a single body construction, which I think is really cool. The length on here is just about perfect at 5.1 inches with a only a 0.365 inch thickness, or thinness, should I say. And then the weight comes in right at just kind of 0.91 ounces. And that's, of course, in titanium, because there are actually a couple different options you can get this with. So in hand ergonomics, I mean, again, really nice, smooth and balanced, great bolt action, fun to fidget with, you know, definitely gives you still more premium feel and kind of construction, even though it's much smaller and slimmer by comparison. Really quite nice. In pocket, of course, that thinness helps again. And the nice thing is you can see here they were actually quite thoughtful for this milled pocket clip. You can see the ramp on here is a nice tight V, so it's not really soft, which would mean that it would be more coming in contact, and with this grip, you know, it might tear up some of the material on your pants. Here, it's just that little point you kind of have to negotiate over and through to get it onto your pants, or through a shirt pocket or anything like that. So it's not going to tear up the material, which I can absolutely appreciate. So very thoughtful from that standpoint. So I dig that. As far as model variations go, you can actually get this in copper or bronze at the same price, or you can pony up for zirconium, which comes in about $249. I actually do have a previous, let me pull that out, zirconium model that I had kind of to commemorate some accomplishments. Let me give it a quick wipe here off camera. For the channel, so this is zirconium with a Timascus bolt action there. So very cool. So if you really want to get premium, you absolutely can, and you can see that I did. Even had it personally inscribed with this particular segment for the channel of On Point EDC. So these are great, and then of course the look of it gives it a much darker look with that zirconium finish. But man, that's, I mean, I shouldn't say finish. It's just the oxidation is what makes it black, but the material itself is full zirconium. So very nice from that standpoint. You still do have those options with this beautiful slim svelte option as well, which I think is wonderful. In terms of comparable options, guys, you know, there's definitely a lot of bolt action pens on the market. Few that feel quite this well designed and executed, though. I mean, again, this is kind of top two that are out there. So I'll definitely do a quick comparison, you know, coming up, just because if you're gonna spend the money on an EDC pen and you are into premium knives, premium watches, you know, premium pens, just premium gear in general, this thing is gorgeous. I think a lot of you will really enjoy this. It just feels expensive. Honestly, it's just because of how tight the tolerances are, how beautiful the details are, how finely done everything is. It just screams and oozes quality, and definitely has more of kind of a timeless appeal. Not to say that it looks vintage in any way, shape, or form, but even just the finish of it, it just has, I just feel like it has a bit more of a traditional slash premium kind of spin to it, which I really enjoy. Really, guys, bottom line here, there's everything you always loved. but now in an even more refined package. You know, and these, with how much lighter these now are in the slim bodied variant, it almost makes me think that the team could probably bring back their my first tactile turn bolt action pen was actually a stainless steel one, which was quite hefty, and it was really cool. I liked it, but basically they used to offer a steel bodied option to save money, and it was like kind of the cheapest, like even though this one is the same price as the copper or bronze, before you used to be able to get it in steel and save quite a few bucks on it. So I think with this new slim design, it would actually be pretty cool if they could do something like this in steel, because I think it would actually make it a lot more pocketable and carryable, but still give you a bit of that kind of unyielding kind of heft that I think comes from like that you used to get from something, you know, with a thicker gauge, where it just felt, you know, I don't know, it's just more premium because of the weight wise. Although everything on here from the touch standpoint is quite premium, I think because it is a little bit lighter, it does kind of it doesn't quite scratch that itch of feeling like you know, super substantial in hand. So yeah, maybe they'll bring it back. Will, if you're watching this, let me know. What do you think? Can we bring back the steel option and, you know, maybe cut down the price to 55 or 65 bucks for a stainless steel option for the slim? I think it'd be pretty cool. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you liked the video, please do hit like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.